Hey, you know who we haven't talked about in a while is Joe Manchin. If you're not familiar, Joe Manchin. Let me go to the Urban Dictionary here. Joe Manchin is the taste you get in the back of your throat when you drank heavily last night and haven't brushed your teeth yet. He's also the senator from West Virginia who has been the bane of a lot of progressive plans. I want to thank Wireless Mike for the suggestion because even though Manchin hasn't officially come out and said it yet, he's considering leaving the party that nobody knows how he got an invitation to. This is an article in The Guardian breaking down what's going on. Let's have a gander. Joe Manchin expected to skip Biden event as he weighs leaving Democrats. The West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin is expected to skip a prominent White House celebration of one of Joe Biden's signature legislative achievements, NBC reported, as he considers leaving his party. It's not his party. Let's be crystal clear on that. It is a party that he somehow plus one his way to, and I don't know where his date is, but he's standing alone and stinking up the joint. Next week, the Biden administration will celebrate the first anniversary of the Inflation Reduction Act, a healthcare, climate, and tax reform package Joe Biden hailed on signing as the biggest step forward on climate ever, which, let's point out, was severely hampered by that miserable "see you next Tuesday" up there. Not that one, the one in the still picture. With this law, the American people won and the special interests lost, Biden said. Manchin is one of the special interests. Just so you know, Manchin, 75, helped write and name the law and attended the signing ceremony as a disgrace to all of us. But Biden's actions on climate are one issue now pushing the fossil fuels-aligned senator towards the exit door, and he will reportedly skip the anniversary event. Remember, when they say he helped write it, he wasn't sitting around thinking, but how can we get more carbon secured at a cheaper price for the American taxpayer? No! He was the guy going in there saying, how can we get away with fucking over my constituents and everybody else's constituents and everybody else living on planet Earth and literally everyone born today because they will suffer tomorrow? How can I over more of them? Well, I'll use the leverage I have as one of the Democrats, tilting the odds in favor of the Democrats. That's necessary to get this voted through. I'll use that to make this bill worse, and I will have the gall to stand up there and sign it like I was of help, as opposed to being an absolute pillock of an obstacle. On Friday, NBC said the White House was trying to keep Manchin engaged. Why? Let him go. In fact, ask him to leave. The senator recently dined with a top Biden aide, NBC said, as the White House tried to ensure the president is not caught off guard when Manchin publicly breaks with him. Toss his stuff out on the lawn. Honey, it's over. I don't know why we let him shack up with us. Put his in boxes if you're polite, but don't keep it in the house. Lawn, sidewalk. I say pitch it out the window, but if you're decent enough that you want to walk it downstairs, fine, do that. But Christ's sake, get him out of there. Manchin helped us find a way to thread the needle and get things done on the IRA, a White House source was quoted as saying. No, he didn't. He helped us thread the needle. He made the needle hole smaller. That's all he did. But he also said he would continue to fight the Biden administration's unrelenting efforts to manipulate the law to push their radical climate agenda at the expense of both our energy and fiscal security. Listen to the words he said. Fiscal security. Money. That's what he's talking about. But guess what? It costs us money to go to the hospital when we have a heat stroke. It costs us money to repair the things that break because they were built for different climates than we are living in, you silly bastard. It costs us a ton of money. It costs us our fiscal security to keep Manchin in a mansion. Cost us energy and fiscal security. Our energy security, by the way, is in dire straits because we are still reliant on an energy source that we have been using for more than a century, and the whole world has, and we knew it was finite. We knew it would run out eventually. Do you wonder why we buy our oil from other countries when we have a load of it here? Why would we buy any of it when we have Alaska that's more oily than me when I was 14? Why? Because there's a finite amount, and if we ever go to war with somebody, we'd rather go to war with somebody whose oil we've been using and run our killing machines on our stockpile of oil that we have. That's why. But we're tapping in to our own strategic stockpile, aren't we? So what happens when we run out? What happens when we start running out in those countries we've all agreed that we're going to bleed dry? Genuine energy security problems. You know what would help? If in the original version of the Inflation Reduction Act, if we'd invested about 5 times as much into renewable energy. You know, the sun that's causing us all this hell right now? Yeah, we could convert that into energy and solve 2 problems at once. But Joe Manchin is the reason we don't. On Thursday, Manchin told West Virginia radio he was thinking seriously about ceasing to identify as a Democrat. And I'm going to stop it there, because now I want to talk about what you can do. I don't need to hear another goddamn word from this jackass. Let me make this decision easy for him. Don't think about leaving the party. Get the fuck out. Get out. I hear all the time about how we need this kind of person in the Democratic Party. Well, how are you going to win over those red states? Can you imagine how bad things would have been if Joe Manchin wasn't there and Kyrsten Sinema, whatever the hell, Sinema wasn't there? Let me come at you with this. By having one Joe Manchin in the party, stinking up the joint and making us indistinguishable from the Republicans in terms of what policies we're actually pushing, watering down everything we're trying to do. By having one of him in the party sucking up our donations and muddying the name of this party. How many senators did we lose? How many elections did we lose? Because the reputation of Democrats is as wishy-washy weaklings that don't actually believe in anything and will say anything to get your vote. Here's what I recommend we do. And let me correct that. It's not me. Here's what Wireless Mike recommended we do. Let me read a little bit of what he said. It would seem that the Overton window is, and has been, on the move. As a result, disingenuous Democratic elected officials feel pressure to jump ship and leave the party that is becoming harder for them to manipulate, at least without pushback. And yet another imposter is mulling over leaving the party. Again, this is Wireless Mike. I literally can't put it better. That's why I'm reading what you said. And this a-hole is thinking about running as an independent for effing president. And no surprise, he's thinking of joining the No Labels Party with a focus on getting the centrist Republican vote. The level of narcissism is staggering. And it's not at all surprising that he won't be attending the anniversary of Biden's climate action bill. He's obviously never cared about the climate. In the long run, It may not even be necessary to weed out the corporate Dems after all. God, I hope so. How amazing, side note, how amazing would that be if this party split does happen, but we get to keep the name Democrat? I would be a fan of that. Let's let them keep the color blue so that we can line up with the rest of the world on our color scheme. But yes, they don't seem to feel as welcome as they once did, and they're looking to get out before they get voted out. Absolutely. This just proves that the current independents seek to do nothing more than to pull votes away from the Democratic candidates in all races. They don't even care if they lose, as long as they can prevent even a remotely progressive candidate from winning. Truth, Wireless Mike. Yes, sir. We can't let this happen. If Manchin or the like wishes to go, so be it. We just have to make sure to elect a real Democrat in his/their place. West Virginia and Arizona are going to be very important states to this end, and neither is going to be easy to win. You are correct, sir. Neither will be easy. Nonetheless, your assessment, in my opinion, is dead on. I would recommend you write the West Virginia Democratic I recommend you write the West Virginia Democratic Party and the Arizona Democratic Party. Contact them and tell them, do not waste my time with a right-winger in a human being's clothing. Here's an example. Senator Manchin does not appear long for the party, so I thought this would be a good time to inform you, the West Virginia Democratic Party, that the voters and donors you rely on have raised their expectations. If you want their continued support, much less the increased support of Democratic voters, then do not allow another right-wing disgrace like Manchin to befoul our reputation again. It does not help us to have a Democrat in West Virginia if we lose 10 others around the country because the party is indistinguishable from the Republicans. If you allow another right-leaning politician to run in the Democratic Party, then you will see a drop-off in support that you cannot afford. That is how it is, and now you know. As long as you mean what you say, you can speak frankly to these people. The contact page for the Arizona Democratic Party and the West Virginia Democratic Party is in the description. Let them know how you feel. And even if Manchin chickens out and decides he's going to try to stay with the Democrats, fire a shot across the bow. Let him know that we would prefer his ass not stick around any longer. Let's see what you all have to say.